want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage for the first race of round 2 for the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying iRacing Series. This evening we're excited to bring you coverage of all the action from iRacing's virtual Chicagoland Speedway and Joliet, Illinois. Tonight's broadcast covers both the races simultaneously as they occur around the racetrack in picture-in-picture format, thanks to the talented team behind the scenes here at Maconi Entertainment. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the weekly Maconi Setup Shop Fixed Series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name is Justin Prince, alongside the booth for tonight's festivities. Braden Laster for the Arkham Art Series, Colic Racing's Dylan Coyle. Our producers tonight, Christian Hill and DJ Lyon, are working those set controls as producers for the start of the second round for the Road to Pro Qualifying iRacing Series campaign. Braden, more than 1,000 drivers took part in the opening round. Now we're down to just 70 to start off round number 2. With that being said, as we get ready to see who gets the coveted invitation to the Contender Series, what do you expect to see here at Chicagoland?
Yeah, we've got a little sneak peek all week long broadcasting on the Maconi CFIX side, and a lot of these guys, you've seen that the Road to Pro guys coming in trying to get seat time and trying to get practice, and we've seen nothing less than the most exciting racing probably on the platform in a hot minute. So I can't wait to see when you take 35 of iRacing's best and 2 separate splits, add them up to 70 drivers total, all try and make it Coke and Contender. It's gonna be exciting to watch.
And Dylan, it's going to be exciting to see which drivers are able to break away. Remember, snake split format, so a lot of these drivers face each other for the first time, possibly, this season.
Yeah, and the really cool thing is that the drivers we're seeing in the races tonight, well, we've already pretty much seen them the entire time that this series has been going with the first round. I mean, we broadcast the top split, and by the end, we also had that second split going. Most of these drivers tonight have raced most of the time in that split or the second split. So drivers we're familiar with, they might not be as familiar with each other as we are with them. So we'll have a lot of information from both races to bring to you.
Well, tonight is at Chicagoland. Let's talk about the racetrack, Braden, because we've talked about it all week. It is much different in terms of driving here on the platform a little bit because of the new build. And in turn, what are the expectations for RTP's competitors with a lot more laps to deal with?
See the track information there, 1.5 miles, and it's definitely a wide track of that, one of the wider ovals on the surface that it has to offer, and 18 degrees of bank and able to carry it around those corners as well. So dirty air seems to be the name of the game, so you can run up by the wall, you can run down low, you can run the middle, and we've seen guys 3, 4, 5 wide. Typically anything more than 4 wide won't work out though.
And in turn as well, the expectations for you, Dylan, what do you expect from this style of racing here tonight?
I mean, do you remember, and this is a question for you, Justin, and anybody watching, I mean, you remember Las Vegas, right? It was pack racing in a way. Yes, it is a mile and a half, but these are this is truck racing. This is truck group racing. We're going to see a lot of that here tonight at Chicagoland. Like with what Brayton said, there's a lot of grooves that you can run here, and it's going to be exciting because of that. I feel like the biggest thing is got to be patient, but not too patient, right? It is 110 laps. We're going to get a lot of racing action. We're going to get one pit stop, if not two pit cycles. We should probably have two. Nonetheless, these drivers still have to worry about the fact that there's not going to be much room to go forward. You can try and go to the outside line, the third line, but guess what? Someone in front of you is already doing that. So who's going to be patient? Who's going to have it pay off?
And let's see how the schedule lines up as well, because remember, the first round of this campaign, 8 rounds, down to just 7 races for round number 2. That includes tracks like Pocono, Lucas Oil Raceway Park, Watkins Glen, Milwaukee Mile, Rockingham, and Homestead. Different dates to what you see on screen, yes, but that's going to be all throughout the summertime in this one, Braden, where a lot longer races are on the docket compared to the first half of round 1 especially.
Then a lot more variety in races too. We only really had one short track, that coming in at Dover. I guess Richmond kind of a short track, but it's a big short track. And look at the schedule here. I mean, Lucas Oil, Milwaukee, Rockingham is a very unusual track. So you don't really see it contending much as far as being on a pro schedule. So a lot of variety and a lot of different tracks you guys are going to have to tackle.
And it's going to be an interesting schedule as a result once we get rolling throughout the entire season, all the way up to Homestead, to see which drivers for the top 20 in this series move on to Contender, to battle the bottom 20 for those in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series point standings. So, drivers are currently in the midst of solo qualifying at the moment here. Overall, who are some of the names, in your opinion, that stand out to you, Dylan, that we've seen pop up a lot in round 1 that you see a chance of sparkling in round number 2?
I mean, for me, you can't go wrong with somebody like Logan Clampett. I know he's number 1 in iRating for a reason, but it's Logan Clampett, right? We've seen some fantastic performances out of him throughout the first round this year. It goes to figure that he's probably going to have more of the same. I have a little bit of a personal want to see some drivers that I've raced with maybe move on to the Contender Series. Just, it makes me look a little bit better. So I look at a driver like Matt Danson or Dylan C. Jones. Danson, who's coming into this specific race, ranked 12th out of all the drivers. Dylan C. Jones a little bit down in the field, 32nd. Nonetheless, those are 2 drivers that have a pretty solid resume coming into this series. Can they potentially make a splash? I think Matt has maybe a better chance of it than Dylan, just for their performances this year so far. But for either of them, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they can do.
Who comes to mind for you, Braden, for tonight that you're going to be keeping an eye on for the start of the season and in turn throughout the entire second round?
That's someone I'm going to be watching, like you mentioned, all round along, especially tonight, covering in the second split. Brian Mercurio was their overall, I guess, champion of round 1, even missing a race. He took advantage of that drop, and comes in split number 2 as the highest ranked driver. So I believe the second driver ranked overall out of the top 70. So definitely one of the ones to watch all season long. And looking at the qualifying results so far, we'll get into that in a minute, but it's not looking too hot so far for the start here for Brian Mercurio.
Yeah, getting the setup right is important, to say the very least, because it's very setup focused. If you want to be able to focus on, well, having track position, but better yet, on the strategy and the full-on speed. It's going to get interesting with the 110 laps being the distance instead of just 100 or even 80 laps, though, here, Dylan. You're talking about at least the potential of the 2-stopper because of that lap count. Infuriating too, that takes fuel strategy away, where unless there's an early caution, you have to do 2 stops.
Yeah, pretty much. You really can't. Maybe if it's a cup car, right? We're talking about truck series cars here. Truck series trucks. I always do that. They're not going to really be able to go 82.5 miles, pretty much open throttle the entire time to make it on a 1-stop strategy. So I think from that point on, you got to think 2 stops. How do you do it? I mean, I think you go to maybe splitting it into thirds. But I also think at that point, how we've seen races go this year, Justin and Brayton, is that these races, right, they'll go to the first pit cycle, typically mostly green, if not completely green, but then one driver's going to make a mistake. It's going to cause cautions breed cautions, the special buzz term that we like to throw around here, and it's something we've seen in this series so far. But qualifying is over. We're about to go racing here, at least in split one. I'm excited for this one. How about this? First races of round 2. It's coming at you live here.
Yes, indeed. Qualifying is over now. Both splits are complete for their sessions. So let's see how they'll start tonight. We'll start off with the first of our split coverages. Going to name this split number 1. Split 2 should say on screen right now. Michael Frisch getting the top spot in that session. Max Brady in second spot here. Just confirmed that it's split number 2 for the coverage now on here. Agnel Phillip, Andrew Navarro, and Michael Venable amongst your top 6 here. The next grouping of drivers for tonight, that'll be on the second page that you'll see flip over here. That's going to feature a lot of different drivers that you'll see battle it out here tonight. We'll talk about that more in detail in a bit here, Braden. Qualifying, also critical if you want to do well in the series.
Yeah, you mentioned qualifying. Someone we were talking about a minute ago, Brian Mercurio, run off 20th in his respective split. So one of the highest ranked drivers coming in tonight, and one of the lowest ranked drivers coming across the take the green flag in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting night, to say the least. Let's talk about things a little bit more detail. Again, for those in the split, we're looking at the grouping for Quentin Warman up there as well. Amongst the mid-pack, David Schoenhaus, one of the main people at Spire Motorsport. In fact, Dylan, he's back in 16th.
Yeah, back in 16th right here, but I don't think that's necessarily the absolute worst starting position that you could possibly have here, at least in this split. But nonetheless, you know, it is something that as this race goes on, you want to be patient. That's where you can be patient, right? That's where you can think, hey, I don't have to go right now. He's not back in the low 20s, high 30s. So I think he's going to be moving his way through the field.
Let's look at how this respective split is currently lined up here for tonight. Can tell you in the R split, we'll get to that in a moment. Tanner Love started on the pole tonight in his fourth straight year in the series. Justin R. Smith, Christopher Hill, Jake Matheson, Brad Wright, the top 5 there. So your keys to victory, let's start off with that, Braden, as we get ready for 110 laps at Chicagoland.
Man, we saw all week in the Maconi C6 series, and that's clean air. Clean air is king, and not getting dive bombed either on the last lap going into turn 3. But they're able to stay out front. They're not hard on their tires, not burning their tires up as much. Able to go further or be faster further by the virtue of you're not burning their tires up, trying to handle a truck in the dirty air. So like Michael P. Frisch in the split 2 here, starting on the front row, starting first. And we've seen a lot of speed on Michael Frisch as well. It's going to be fun to watch him try and control that dirty air.
Now you see the split screen breaking out with the 2 different splits here, how you'll see things break out parts of the night here tonight. Second split, we already ran to the grid order once again for their respective race. But again, to recap how the top 10 looks for the top screen that you'll see throughout tonight. Tanner Love, Justin R. Smith, Christian Hill, Jake Matheson, Brad Wright, Matthew Martin, Carson Bowers, Logan Clampett, then Brennan Kohler and Jackson Crowder. Drivers are getting set to go green flag racing here from iRacing's virtual Chicagoland. We're happy to have you with us. RTP round 2 kicks off from Illinois. So already a clean start for the 2 different splits as they make their way through the corners now. Already 3 wide, the occasion in the heart of the field, starting to form in the heart of the pack.
Got a lot of guys trying to make their way up to the front. That's the best place to do. It's on a restart or a green flag. That's Andrew Navarro, one of the cars up there highest on the track in 4th right now. And he's trying to get around Max Brady. And Brady playing the defensive game early on this one.
Yeah, seeing different games play out. We're keeping an eye on how things are looking in this respective split right now. So again, splits. Michael Frisch currently leading in split on your screen. Champagne
Penalty,
set to start.
actually. Michael Frisch has a restart penalty from the lead. He's got to pit this time, so trouble already from Michael P. Frisch, the leader of split 2. Here he comes down pit road. There goes Max Brady and Cameron Champagne around him. Oh, no.
And that's terrible, to say the very least. And once again, Dylan, it's important to think about second round, a bit more stricter on that already to start.
Yeah, that's absolutely upsetting, but hey, that's what happens when you have a lot more eyes watching and a lot more people who are more invested in this, right? You're going to have the situations where you're caught on moments like that. I think we'll start to see that wind down a little bit as these races go on in round 2, but it's kind of an example of what happens now. There's more pressure.
A lot of pressure, absolutely, when it comes to being able to do well with these points races, to say the very least. We'll talk about this a lot more throughout the night. So, the plan is quite simple for many drivers. Make your way forward, right? So, the top 10, essentially, if you think about it, big picture from both splits, score very well. That's going to be the interesting part, is can you do well in both splits? Or rather, how your snake lineup goes here in terms of points throughout the run here, Braden.
Well, it's something we saw in round 1, and I don't think it's going to be as crucial here in round 2, but the early races are huge for maximizing points and minimizing points lost. Because after the first couple of races, there are guys dropping off the series, guys that just don't want to do it anymore. They know they're not going to advance in round 2. We only take the top 20 in points, so we're sending 50 of these guys home here, and that's not something we really want to do when, sit here and slug along for 5-ish races and be outside the points picture. And some guys will just quit, and at that point the SOF isn't higher, and you lose your maximum amount of points you can gain.
And as well, still as they will continue to circulate around this facility here, the main thing to think about is this pack's going to eventually break up. One of the main things, Dylan, that we've noticed throughout the week so far, at least on the fixed side, and can say that's popped up a bit on the open side, is by lap 10, this pack starts to separate. It's not as packy per se.
Yeah, 100%. It is still going to resemble somewhat that packiness, if that's what we want to call it. That's what we want to say it. But, Las Vegas does have a different type of banking. It is a different type of layout. The asphalt is fresher, newer. There's more grip there to go around, but still, nonetheless, Chicagoland is fast. You'll still see some close racing. This is pretty much the most separation you'll see throughout the entirety of this race, I'd say, still.
Yeah, and multi-groove racing potentially going to be a factor here too, Braden. The top line we've seen working to play defensively all week long. Max Brady trying to make a move on Quentin Warman, trying to get alongside there. Most drivers seem to be staying quite simple. Let's just wrap the bottom in 3 and 4, save it that way. Then it's been diverse in turns 1 and 2.
Another driver, too, talked about keeping it simple, and it's not been simple for him. That's Michael Baumgartner on the 29 truck here in split 2. Lost connection going into qualifying. Lost connection again, got back in right before the grid, and now he's 6-7 laps down already. Finally on track, taking his first green flag lap, and continues to blink around the track. So Baumgartner just trying to get some laps completed here. Meanwhile, Michael P. Frisch, you mentioned that penalty on the initial start. Still in the lead lap, albeit about 24 seconds down.
Interesting note as well, by the way, that truck you're seeing in third spot, Warman, who's starting to get very defensive here. Some of the Ryko trucks, a part of a new rebrand this week here, they elected to go with the Penske numbers. Not any affiliation, but they said, you know what, let's try and change up the theme, try and go with a bit more Ford theme, go with a bit more of a Penske look per se for round number 2.
Well, they do call it Penske Perfect, right? That's the kind of look you're going for. If you want to be going to the Contender Series, you almost have to be perfect, or at least better than, 70% or so of the field in the action over the course of round 2 as we ride on board with Quentin Warman right here, currently in third, trying to make that high line work above that second seam, not right against the wall, but he is finding some speed and has momentum. Looks like second is his to take.
It is around that lap 10 mark where we're expecting things to swing here. And already the defensive games are on with Navarro running the top. Everyone else starting to move on up for 3 and 4.
That couple guys trying to run up their bottle, a couple guys trying to run the middle. I think they're just trying to find clean air. We saw that on Wednesday night, Monday night both. And Warman, though, meanwhile, is sitting there not really able to make the pass in Navarro, but definitely hanging in there.
Take a look, though, at David Schildhouse. We talked about some of the diverse backgrounds that you'll see from some of the drivers. The Senior Director of Operations at Spire, and he is also the GM for the eNASCAR Coke Series team this season. Just the second time for Schildhouse making a run in round 2. The last time back in 2022, and he's nearly getting uprooted out of the way for a moment.
Let's go. Armstrong, they're right behind him now, right outside of him. That you mentioned, there's some slight contact there. Got Schildhouse a little loosey-goosey coming off turn 4. Both drivers able to keep it going. And pretty big pack here. Trevor Huff, Chad McGinley, a couple others right behind these guys, all trying to make some moves happen here. This is for the 21st spot, but the way they're racing, you think it's for the lead.
I mean, points are points, and they are extremely significant. Oh, Schildhouse getting tight. Bounced a bit off Armstrong, able to hold on. Now keep an eye on what things are going on in the other split. Meanwhile, it is Justin R. Smith leading. The Conti trucks in full control to start things off there so far, Dylan.
Yeah, it's right now some full control here and a bit of separation in the top running positions. But this is a whole mess back here. The first side-by-side action really is until we're around 15th, 16th, 17th place on back, and that's when we go 3 wide here. How long can they make this work? They're looking at maybe 4 wide.
Yeah, a lot of drivers getting shuffled in the midst of this. Kohler able to get bumped by Matthew Batby, one of the Nexus machines also doing so. Eddie Kerner trying to wrap the bottom right now. It's an absolute hornet's nest. You also throw in the mix some of the Coke spotters actually in the mix. Robbie Rabriel Jr., he's in that Maconi themed truck, able to make the pass high side.
And we have about 22 drivers and spotters here over in Split 2, and you talk about how serious this is. I mean, this is guys trying to make it to the top level, so I mean, they're going to have some top-level support for sure, and I mean, the behind-the-scenes work that goes into an operation to make it to round 2, make it the Contender, and then the Coke. I mean, the guys put a ton of time before they even think about practicing, before they even get on track to practice, just to go and have a shot to make it to the top 20 here.
But getting back to Justin R. Smith, we've seen him have some strong runs last campaign. For round 1 is the better phrasing. He's not going to be easy to pass, especially with the chance to work with a teammate and clamp it here. You know that the communication is going to be uptight to be able to make sure they're both in sync and make sure they're good to go on the testing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, right, it's just about controlling the pace of the field. Justin, I feel like I say this every single race that you and I are broadcasting together. It's not about how fast you can be once you're in first. It's about how slow you can be to hold control of that equipment and still remain in first place. Because guess what? It doesn't matter if you win by 5 seconds, by 1 second, or by a whisker. That's all that matters. You won. That's the play. So they're doing a good job, Justin Smith, Logan Clampett, of just kind of staying up there right now. And that's all you need in Team Conti. But there is some challenging going on for P3 with Tanner Love and Jake Matheson going side by side and up a lane compared to Team Conti's drivers.
Tanner Love's been one of those that's been able to kind of showcase you could still make top 4 runs without the I rating. He now watches Oz Matheson. He works outside the Nexus Esports truck, trying to make it stick. He's made a lot of bold strategy calls this season, and they've worked out for 2 wins in round 1.
That seems a lot of guys are starting to calm down back to pace. You see the same thing in Split 1, see in Split 2, and they go down the back straightaway, and everyone is single file. They get to the corner, and they spread out like wildfire. I mean, they're talking 2, 3, some guys even 4 wide, and they get single file once again there and down the front straightaway. Maybe not.
How about 3 wide to the heart of the field,
Yikes.
starting to wake up a bit. That shuffles things back for Jackson Crowder and company. That was Matthew Morden and Shani Ballou able to make some charges there near contact as Morden slots up.
Well, they just barely got that situation figured out for now, but guess what? All of a sudden, we're going back to some close battling here. Just around the top 10 spots, almost rising up into the left rear quarter panel of Baloo was Matthew Morton. That could have been quite poor right there, but instead we continue on lap 21 of 110, which kind of leaves me to think about, again, pit strategy, because if they do want to split it up into thirds, I don't know if that's the right move, just because you leave yourself such a window for other drivers to just keep on going until they run it dry. I don't know what the right move is, but if I'm out there right now, and Brayton, I hope you'd say the same thing, even in this hornet's nest right here, you just go until you can't anymore.
Dev, I'm Eddie Kerner. Let me tell you, I am puckered up right now. I've seen these guys go 3 and 4 wide behind me and around me. Because there's no worse feeling in the world when you see someone get spun there in front of you and nothing you can do. We saw that a lot over the Maconi C-Fix side of things. And obviously, these guys are a lot more talented than that. But, I mean, if there's any chance at taking a gap and filling a hole there, these guys are shooting for it.
Yeah, Kerner, all the way back in 2020, made headlines. $10,000 was the winning total when he took home the Landon Castles LCQC qualifying challenge. 1/1000th of a second for the qualifying challenge back then over Donovan Strauss. That was a tight battle to set the fastest hot lap time at Darlington Raceway. And since then, he's backed up the speed in major competitions. He's been in the conversation in the RTP ladder. And of course, this season now running with Norse Force and looking very solid in his usually signature 98 truck.
Yeah, that truck looks pretty solid right there, but he is in the middle of this battle going on. But I'll tell you what, remember what we were talking about? It's not pack racing per se. Well, guess what? It is in the middle of the pack. It truly is, and you're going to see this go on for the rest of this green flag running, because, yeah, once you do have the first place, second, top 5, top 10 start to run away with it just a little bit, you'll still have everybody else packed up in the middle of the field, just trying to find their marks. And qualifying speed over 1 lap, 2 laps, does it really mean that much when it comes down to racecraft?
Good point. By the way, in the bottom corner, you may have, I guess you could say that. As single file for the leaders right now in split 1. Split 2 in the bottom corner, by the way, just had a bit of a change going on involving it, because Warman just took the lead over there. So Quentin Warman in the Ryko truck showing that performance right now. Now up on lap 25 for both of the splits already. And Warman in his Ford looks to run.
That Warman didn't get a single win at all in top split action or any action that was in the Road to Pro round 1. So had a best finish of, I believe, a couple top 10s, but you got that 5th there at Charlotte to round out the season. We talked about building momentum and carrying that into round 2. He's definitely doing so, leading quite a few laps. And Andrew Navarro, right there behind Navarro, dominated the first 3 or 4 rounds of round 1. And I think the fall off of Andrew Navarro there in the second half of round 1 needs to be a study somewhere, because it was absolutely atrocious. I think he finished outside the top 30 2 or 3 times, and outside the top 20, I think the final 3 or 4 races there except for 1. So Navarro back in his former self and running second behind Warman, and Max Brady in 3rd.
Brendan Hawk keeping an eye on how that truck's going. A lot of drivers trying the apron, but most have shied away with it now as the tires have burned off here, Dylan.
Yeah, it's going to start to, you see that gray line, right? It's going to start to move up a little bit more towards the wall. And Chicagoland, it's one of the only real tracks we look at with the racing here where the backstretch is curved the entire way. I miss it in real world racing, because they always tell you, you want to get your exits as straight as possible before getting back on the throttle. You're not off the throttle that much, as we do a beautiful fade into the first split. We love that. This is fun. And, you know, with that being said, you're not trying to get the truck as straight as possible in this backstretch, because you're still curving. So it kind of can lead to minute differences, as Clampett almost up against the wall there with Matheson. They're going to slow each other up here and let Smith run a little bit away with it here.
And we've had an incident in split number 2. I believe that's maybe what we're trying to show, not sure, but Joe Armstrong in the 7 rated truck, number 22, wrecked the number 12, and Armstrong with a meatball flag. So see him on pit road there. He's going to go multiple laps down, and heartbreak there for Joe Armstrong. He was 2 or 3 wide going in the corner, had a little bit of help. Joshua Ballier, one of the last drivers to make it in from round 1. And that's going in Armstrong tonight early.
Not the night Armstrong wanted to do the debut, essentially in the big time way for round 2 here tonight. But by the way, Clampett's been able to retake the 2nd spot. up in the front group. So Matheson holds on to third, but that's seeing Christopher Hill and Tanner Love in one of the legacy trucks slip around here as things play things out. Already though, when do we see the peel down is the question. 2 seconds the fall off, Braden.
Yeah, his tires are definitely starting to wear. I mean, you see the dirty air. Some guys are trying to play dirty air game a little better than others, but you got Madsen there in third. I mean, running right behind or running the same line Justin Smith is running. Albeit they got Logan Clampett right between them. Madsen getting loose off of turn 2. And I think the tires that you're talking about, him being that dirty air for so long, is definitely starting to hurt that right rear a little bit more than others, and you're starting to see it there on corner exit.
Yeah, it's starting to get really loosey-goosey. And that's one of the main things I've noticed, Dylan, is with this package now, you push hard with this truck, you burn the right rear fast.
Yeah, and you know, you don't really burn the right rear unless you're trying to get on the throttle and keep that momentum up as much as possible. You can see right there at the exit, almost getting up into the wall. You're really trying to get that truck's momentum moving forward and continuing here. So that right rear, it's definitely taking a beating as this race continues. They're gonna be in the pits. I mean, I would say the pit window is open now, and it's going to be open until maybe lap 55 at the worst. If they can make it to 55, they can make it the rest of the way. I don't think that's going to be the case. This is challenging. From now until then, the pit window is open for me.
Well, it's coming to different pit strategies. Some guys might try and go for the 2-stopper. Some guys might just go for the 1-stopper. And I think these guys sit here and play different strategies. And I don't really want to pick one, JP. We saw at Charlotte. There were 2 or 3 different pit strategies, and we all said, hey, this one's not going to work out, and ended up being the winning strategy. So I think some guys might be comfortable with one strategy, some with another.
The tough thing about the 1-stop, though, is the fuel run normally goes only to 48 to 50 here at Chicagoland. You're talking about needing to save 5 laps of gas.
It's definitely not easy. I'm sorry, Dylan. It's definitely not easy, not by any means. But if someone's determined enough, they might be able to do it. Just maybe.
I think just maybe we might not get there, as there's a slide up and some contact to the wall on the exit of turn 4. That could have been bad. Also, we're at the point where drivers are a little bit frustrated, right? They know the tires are falling off. Some have pushed a bit harder than others to move up through the field. See, my question here is, if you go, are you okay with the risk of going into the pits now, other drivers potentially lasting until 55 or even until 50, but that's a 15-lap stretch, 7.5+ minutes, where the caution could potentially come out? I mean, are you okay with that?
Well,
right, tough call to make.
You know, people just made the call, though, because Hill, Pfeffer, Maconi from Kern County, and Brandon Hawken all elected to come down to pit this time. More calls for Ashton Crowder and more this time by. It looks like they are going to go with the splitting it in third strategy, many people are.
And no one from split 2 yet. Meanwhile, Quentin Mormon's pulled away over to a second lead. Connor Yaroshek, a driver that was around the 40 spot bubble after round 1 and second. Andrew Navarro there still in third. But no one split 2 coming in yet. No calls yet. So these guys split 2 trying to go a little bit longer than split 1.
So pit party time across the field here for this one tonight. We'll see if everyone doing get the clean pit runs they're looking for. Will Cooley also amongst those calling for calls on full picture screens right now. Cooley, a former co-driver for 2017. Not going to get that done for the high line. Others are going to come in like Jack Mace and more as they continue to fly on into the pit lane here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, guys, that drivers are now all starting to come into the pits. I think it just took one for the floodgates to open up. We're going to continue seeing drivers potentially stay out until they can't anymore, but I think those drivers are going to be the ones that have a little bit less to lose and more to gain at this point in the race. They can last another 10+ laps at a maximum on this fuel tank right here, but you got to be wary, right? I think everybody's a little bit on edge. Everyone's feeling the pressure a little bit right now because things can change for no fault of your own an instant. If it's too wide battle like we're seeing right there, goes Ari for 2 drivers, we could potentially see a complete flip of the leaderboard right now.
Speaking of a complete flip, Garrison Hogan here in the 21 truck, running deep in the field in 27th. He's been 2 wide, 3 wide with Logan Helton, a couple others the past couple laps. And there's a lot of battles here. Aston Swash, a lot of notable names as well. Justin Johnson, a couple others, though, all involved in this big 4-6 car pack. Trying to go at it, but Hogan definitely getting the worst of it. Has been playing bumper cars to get everyone. We got drivers pitting, though. That's River Hayes in the 23rd position. We were one of the first drivers to come down pit road.
That's in split 2. You see as part of the split action once again. You mentioned Garrison Hogan. The reason talked about so much right now is earlier today, Nitro Circus announced that they would be making their Road to Pro debut by putting Garrison Hogan in their first ever RTP sanctioned truck. So a chance to showcase a different look here for Garrison Hogan. Blake McCandless, he's already completed service. The co-announcer for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, yet again making a run in round 2 since the offseason. Picked up a 2023-24 Winter NIS Championship to add to his cabinet.
That's not too shabby, is it? I mean, you might as well pick that up on your way to trying to get back up to a top level here as we continue seeing some more pit stops going on in the second split. You know it would be interesting for me to kind of look at is when was the first pit stop in the second split as compared to the first split, and when's the last pit stop going to be from both?
Yeah, split 2 pitted. It started pitting about 3 or 4 laps later. It's still not quite busy. Starting to pick up the big time. Mitchell Hutt, Colton Harvey, Ryan Andrew, Kevin Champagne, all pitting this last lap. Brian McCurry last time. Rocky Boyd running top 5. Up a handful of spots, over 15 spots. He's in that 5th spot. He's putting in. Here comes the entire field, all on the radio, calling it down, and pit road's about to get busy here in split 2.
Pit party time down in the bottom corner. Meanwhile, Justin R. Smith holds on to net second. In fact, net lead. McClenny cycled in front of them. Where did Clampett cycle? He did not cycle in the same spot as some may have expected. He cycled a little bit further back, believe, compared to the front. There he is, actually there. So, to reset my thought there, Clampett, net leader. Warman just came in for the lead in split 2.
It's going to get slow and slow. About speeds on pit entry. 50-mile-an-hour pit road speed, and Warman definitely pushing the boundaries. Connor Yaroshak follows him in from second. Daniel Nanny as well. So the leader this time by, this is going to sound crazy, JP, Agnell Phillip of all people out front in command here. And Brandon Whack is in second.
Wow, that's pretty impressive right there. If Agnell Phillip is going to be able to take that lead and stay there as the race does continue on in the second split. Here in the first split, though, only 6 drivers, I believe, well, the top 6, as you're seeing right here, have yet to pit. Hill and Pfeffer, have they come into pit lane? I believe they have.
Yes.
But they're just going to suffer as this run goes on because everybody else has much fresher tires than them now.
Yeah, right now 1 second difference between them and Clampett, give or take. Caution flag is out. It's 1-1. We've had an issue. Matt Danson, the leader on track, just got turned around by the fresh tires of Channing Ballou, and we're under yellow for the first time in either split.
I was getting ready to bring it up. When you have this mixed pitting style like that, typically breeds a caution one way or another, and it can definitely mess things up and split the cars by trapping multiple guys a lap down. And so far, split 2 keeping it clean and green. Chad McGinley just inherited the lead. Matt Kosher from dead last in second, though, but split 1.
Wait till we see this replay right here because, you know, I think Danson started to come up a little bit as we get it spooled back here. I mean, once we get it from the start here. So Danson on worn tires at this point has the 26 right in behind. I mean, he comes up a little, barely.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Guys, did he just get driven right through, or is that just my eyes?
I think it's just the speed difference when on those fresher tires we talked about. The tire fall is already 2.5, 3-ish seconds. So
Yeah.
let's give him a list was in full effect there. But I don't think we can really gauge it when they're coming up on a much slower car like that. It's very difficult to do, and obviously you want to be in a completely different lane altogether, and that's how you prevent that right there. You don't want to enter the same lane as the guy that's much slower than you.
Yeah, I don't know there. I still feel like even if you can't really judge that difference in the speed, you still have to judge that difference in the speed, and Danson was still the leader on track. You can't just drive through the guy.
So that's going to shuffle things a little bit here. So you have the issues for Danson. Nathaniel Landwehr and David L. Brown both lost the lead lap during the cycle. But Chris Overland and Moore ended up coming through the pit lane.
And meanwhile, over here in split 2, a couple guys still yet to pit. It's starting to heat up, though. We have 4 drivers: Chad McGinney, Logan Helton, Dustin Johnson, and Michael Venable, have all yet to pit. Chad McGinney started in 19th. He's really slow. In fact, I thought he was coming in that time. He was so slow. Caution, split 2 now. And, oh, man, things are going to heat up big time. Sandor Nyhoff, the reason for the caution, quick to mic up on the radio. And he's going to trap a couple guys a lap down, maybe.
What'd I say? Cautions breed cautions. It doesn't even have to be in the same race.
And this is gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be identical, in the same corner, everything same style as a split 1 almost.
And of course, with it being round 2, the intensity has really picked up here on the give and take. Let's see what happened here.
So now you have Sandor Nyhoff in the 78 truck
boy.
catches a slow and a loose Dustin Johnson, and Johnson gets loose in front of Nyhoff, and he's not really able to save it. Johnson is, because Nyhoff kind of helps him go around completely there. I think he would have been able to save it if Sandor didn't get into the right rear. Nyhoff on, I believe, a little bit fresher tires. Looking at the lineup now, yeah, Dustin Johnson yet to pit. So same almost style of incident in both splits here.
So just like that, both splits under the caution flag for their first times here. The offset difference on laps, about 4 or 5 laps, give or take. Not that bad. Chad McGinley of Munsto's able to come in with the service. It's funny how that works, where both races seem to go caution free. The second one goes yellow. The next one says it's time for me to go yellow too.
They're playing ditto.
Ditto, yes. Touche. What else can we say? Twinning?
Twinema?
Anything of the sort. But nonetheless, what we're trying to say here is that both have gone under caution. And even though the caution came out right then and there, guess what? It's still a 2-stop race. So our question then comes down to, if it does go back to green flag racing for the remaining laps of the both splits in this one. The leaderboard you're currently seeing right now is from split 1, which is going back to green this time by, and the split 2 is going to have a couple more laps before going back to green flag racing. Both of them, though, you still can't make it the entire way, so they're still going to have to pit.
I want to bring that point up because, we wrecked a little bit later on split 2 than we did in split 1, so some guys might be trying to go the distance. We'll go green. Oh, gosh.
It's still going to be the same.
Past 50 or so, but it's going to be tight. I don't think anyone's going to try it, but the door, if we can get a quick caution here, will be there.
A lot of strategy here, too, for the mid-packers. Santiago Tierras, amongst those who pit for tires. Dalton Milam, Chris Overland, first on the freshies. 9-lap difference compared to some of those up front. Back underway. Logan Clampett is the leader. Already, some going 3 wide apron. That's a little bit brave. And that causes 4 wide. That was Alexander Russell all the way to the bottom.
Let's say cautions breed cautions. They're trying to get the second one of the night already. Still 4, maybe 5 wide coming off of turn 2. In the heat of the pack, Logan Clampett still leads, and they're trying to figure out who's going to be right behind him, though.
Yeah, some bold strategies already. Oh, that's wild. The battling is on, and a squeeze. Contact pinball.
Got to save it.
Kohler able to hold on to it from the pinball effect. All up front. Ashton Crowder trying to pressurize Brad Wright right up there. Able to pick up some strategy as a result of the top of the caution. He's now trying to hold on. Oh, well, Mays is under attack by everybody. Spin in the back.
Yep. I don't know if we're going to go under caution, though, because the spin did happen down underneath the apron and only a one-truck incident.
That's cutting that grass for free down there, so no caution yet for split one. Keeping it clean-ish and keeping it green. The only, I guess, clean part we're seeing is that freshly mowed grass.
That was Jackson Crowder. Can confirm we've got spun around at the back of that grouping. Looking how things are going. Meanwhile, top side, Blaze Crawford, a little bit of bobbling. Jake Matheson looking to make up a lot of lost ground as a result of that caution.
Yeah, Matheson is going to have to get back going here. He's around 4+ spots, depending on if he was running third or second at one time to get back going here. But the second split is about to go back to Green Flag Racing. So here's the benefit of what we've got going on here, guys. We're going to be able to show you some live picture from split one, but you know it's just as exciting when you start with some of the next best drivers in the sim on a restart. It's going to get hectic here.
Yeah, speaking of hectic, we had some guys stay out. Andrew Navarro, Yaroshack, and Rocky Boyd all pitted about 10-11 laps ago. And right at the top three there, they're going to stay out. And the top 6-7 guys have all stayed out. Meanwhile, Chad McGinley, 9th, first driver on fresh tires here. So this is going to get real exciting here in split two.
There it is for the restart. Green, back underway. As already drivers to the apron, already 4 wide into turn one.
Oh my gosh, that's even crazier of a start than we saw from Split 1. Split 1's restart was kind of wild because there were slowdowns and checkups right when they crossed the stripe. Nonetheless, all the drivers on your screen, they're breathing a little bit less easily than they were just a minute ago.
That's someone who's definitely breathing a little more easy, and now he's back in as Michael P. Frisch, or pole sitter here in race number 2. Finally able to catch up to the lead back in 31st, and no penalties on this restart.
New leader in the top screen, by the way, Justin R. Smith, let go by Logan Clampett. He has slightly fresher tires. And so the boss man, so to speak, or one of the boss men from Team Conti, they won't go. That second split, they are definitely not separating as quickly compared to some of those on the tire strat. 3 wide, 4 wide, multiple rows deep.
Oh goodness, that is absolutely awesome racing here halfway through now as they cross the stripe to get to lap 56 of 110. Both races are past the halfway mark.
That's someone in this second split in that heated bubble there, 3-4 wide, ripping the lip actually down the bottom. Brian Mercurio, driver we talked about a lot going into the pre-race show, and back there in 17th, made up a lot of time before the caution, falling back a little bit, but Mercurio trying to get back inside the top 15 now.
Yeah, Mercurio's had a surprisingly rough one in that split so far. And now we'll see him as he would recover after winning that championship. Remember, missed the final race of round 1 for the team's party, essentially, at Charlotte Motor Speedway back during the Coke 600.
I think Shieldhouse was there too, wasn't he? Is that the right team? Am I thinking correctly?
Absolutely,
we're all thinking correctly, and we're wrecking correctly. 4-5 wide into the wall, hit around. A lot of drivers are, they don't have a fast pair to use, so they're going to be getting the tow truck out for this one.
Caution in second split. Our second caution for that split here today. And a lot of bumpers going bouncing. Yes, absolute mess.
Yeah, and you almost thought for a second, Brayton, that they would have saved it, and they almost did until it was just too much for all of them in a short amount of space to be able to bear.
Yeah, this is a lot of wrecks here, a lot of happening at the same place, so see if we can get the replay. They're blaming the 25 truck. Not sure what the 25, he is kind of in. So you see the replay of the wreck start to happen up there. They're 3 or 4 wide by the time they go into turn 3. It stacks them all up, and that was in that big pack you were watching go 4 wide previously, and a couple guys are getting the back bumpers, and around they go. Dustin Johnson was quick to mic up. He was calling some people some very, I want to say choice terms, but he definitely wasn't happy.
Embers flaring already. Let's try this one more time here. And again, Oh, that was a big squeeze up from the 25 truck.
So the 25 truck there, that's Nicholas Morse. And he's going to need a moose to haul his car to pit road at this point, because he's got a lot of torn up trucks there and a lot of guys behind him, unfortunately. So he's going to knock out a lot of guys there. Logan Helton, the 15 truck, heavy hit from after the fact. I don't know if that was intentional, but he just saw that 25 there and said, yeah, you're not getting out of this one, bud.
I mean, I was going to ask, it looked like a little bit of ARCA brakes there, which, Brian, not saying you're an ARCA brake kind of person. A split one goes to yellow.
Cautions breed cautions. And involved in this one from 10th spot, Blaze Crawford. He was trying to clear Tanner Love, and we're under yellow once again.
That's an interesting caution. I mean, hey, he was almost completely turned around, which we'll see in just a few moments. But yeah, not the same excitement as the caution that we just saw happen for in split 2, but nonetheless, both races are kind of following suit with each other when it comes to here's a caution, there's a caution. Take one, leave one, pass it around, and catch the replay in just a few moments.
Yeah, so Justin R. Smith currently the leader here, and this should get people to the end on gas at least. So that takes out that factor on the strategy. So we'll see everybody potentially think about the top off here.
That's a couple guys electing not top off here in second split. Here you have the replay. We're going to get back to what I was saying in a moment.
I mean, if you're thinking about not, as we catch one of the replays right here, was this an earlier incident that did not lead to the caution?
Yes.
That was just a close call right there. So
Nice save.
it was a great save. Any of the drivers who did come or decide to stay out right here is kind of, I don't know about that. Blaze Crawford is the one who got almost completely turned around up against the outside wall on the exit of 2, which we'll catch in just a little bit. But, you know, we'll talk about strategy in just a moment. Here's Crawford. He's on the bottom line and starts to drift up just a little bit. There's a truck there. That's the problem. And they just kind of come together. And that's as far the angle that he goes around. He gets the truck kind of set back up. Not too much damage, but enough of a turnaround to bring out the caution.
That's almost identical to what we just saw here in split 2, where a driver running the middle line comes off a try to clear himself up, and around that field goes. It wasn't as bad as split 2. Like I mentioned, we have 4 drivers, I believe, out now with damage. Logan Helton, Nicholas Morse, Johnny Avila back on track, 1 lap down. Dustin Johnson, 1 lap down. Although he's missing a back bumper a little bit more than a 31 truck is, and not going Dustin Johnson's way.
And believe one of the Express Esports trucks here is up front on the strategy roll here, Braden. A bold strategy. Others like McCandless with the time of this caution in their split is up front. It's Caden Rush who's now in control of the field.
Caden Rush from 18th, he decided to stay out along with Quentin Warren, Blake McCandless, and Ashton Slice have all stayed out. About 8 lap older tires, and Chad McGinley right there, first truck on new tires in 5th. So Caden Rush, first car on the front row, going to lead the field to green here.
It's time to get back to racing once again in the second grouping of drivers. 49 laps to work with. Rush in control. Green, green, green. Already, drivers trying to shuffle to the bottom.
Wow. That was a move before getting to the stripe, so that's something to look out for. It's not usually something you want to be seeing, but that's what happened.
And no penalties, no black flags yet. Logan Helton has called it quits after that wreck. I don't think he was too happy with the way it went. Meanwhile, Blake McCann is trying to take the lead from Caden Rush. Rush still with that advantage. We're going to be 3 or 4 wide there for 4th. Here comes Quentin Warman running the middle. And up there by the wall, it's Ashton Slice.
Still 2 and 3 wide racing, all while in first split. They just had some interesting strap back over there. They finished up some of their pit strategy down there. 3 wide, 4 second split. Right now, Warman wrapping top. able to take his lead back.
First split just went green flag racing, by the way, in the bottom right side of your screen. A little bit of a flip around with some of the drivers. Cade McClellan started from first. They're going 3 wide into turn 3.
The bold strategies. Maconi forced to back out. Yeah, Logan Clampett won the race up front. Here we go. It's the big one in the heart of the field. 10+ driver spin. Ashton Crowder loops. Also around his angle, and caution flag is out as another stack up takes a good portion of the field out in the heart of the top 10.
I might be mistaken here, but I think we just created the iRacing rocket launch program. Andrew Navarro quick on the radio here in split 2, saying we are 4 wide, letting the drivers around them know that they are 4 wide. I don't think they knew, and they were almost staggered 5 for a split second there, so I think they're heating up here in split 2 quite a bit. So expect our big one our own big one here in a minute.
I mean, it never looked like it was going to work out in the first split when McClellan came out onto the track in first on that restart with worn tires, but I actually don't think it was his fault necessarily for getting turned. We'll see it in just a few moments as we still watch picture-in-picture and ride inside the truck of Kevin Champagne, currently in 9th. He's headed up and down day. Let's go to the replay system here. And what you'll see, this is right off the jump, going into turn 1 and 2. I believe it happens a half a lap later, if I'm not mistaken. But Carson Bowers is actually the driver that got into the right rear of McClellan. We'll see it here. He's in the 42, the purple truck. And does he come down a tiny bit?
Well, when they're stacked up like that, there's not really any coming down or going up. I mean, you got to run your line and hope you don't clip someone's quarter panel. That's exactly what happened there. And I can see cars to the left, cars to the right, cars through the grass, and a little bit of everything in between. Oh, man, who had some awesome wreck avoidance there. That was awesome.
However, Brad Wright and Jake Matheson from the very minimum meatball flags, 10+ drivers having to take significant damage repair here. Round 1's definitely going to be some people's drops, as offset 4 wide does not work here.
Well, no fast repairs. Remember, this isn't Maconi C6. Actually, I don't think they have. They might have. I don't think they have a fast repair there either. But tire sets too are going to start to come into play here. They're going to have 3 sets of tires in the pits, and the way that we're going through cautions, some guys have pit. I think already both cautions, or every time they've got an opportunity. Bit of contact in second split here for top 5. Brandon Whack and Ashton Slice about just turned each other off on another crossover move. It looked like there was smoke coming from one of their trucks. Maybe White just got himself on the wall, but things are definitely starting to heat up here inside the top 10.
Yeah, we'll take a look at them with 42 laps to go right now. Rush still trying to find a way around for the lead, but battle is on for the 4th position. That 16 truck on screen. Rocky Boyd from 22nd as far back in the race. One of the JRS entries, able to thrash out the hammers and find some speed for this week.
Yeah.
Go ahead there, Dylan.
Oh, man. Thank you very much, Mr. Laster. Yeah, that was a bit of a slide job right there, coming out of turn 4 onto the front stretch for the driver in the 16 truck. Currently in 4th place right now, has some speed. I mean, there's a lot of drivers that have some speed in this second split. I feel like it's one of those races where you just don't know who's going to eventually get the win. We're about to go back to green flag racing again here in that first split. And of course, who's in first, who's in second? It's Clampett, it's Smith. I don't think that's shocking to anybody here.
Let's get back to racing over there right now. Lap 69 when they get to the stripe. Back to racing they go. Already Clampett with a clean run. Drivers like Eddie Kerr thinking about a place to go. No place to take the run. But Tanner Love is also trying to gain some spots back after everything.
It's a great opportunity to make up time, make up spots. Right after a restart, they're so bunched up, and one bobble here, you can pass 4 or 5 trucks real easily.
What 2 lead also going side by side. Quentin Warman under attack. Near contact, it's 3 wide for their race lead in the bottom corner.
Yeah, someone's going to have to give right there as they go down the back stretch. They're not going to be able to make it 3 wide on the exit. Momentum is on the high line. If you're in the bottom of 3 wide, you're almost always going to lose that momentum as the 84 slides up just a little bit in the second split. In the first split, they're going 3 wide down the back stretch for second. It's allowing Logan Clampett to get away just a little bit. He's not going to be able to get away too much because there is the draft here in the trucks.
Yeah, Quentin Warman, who was leading second split, tapped the wall, come off of turn 4, and really killed his right rear. Meanwhile, Johnny Avila, 2 laps down, is coming out of pit road. So, or not coming out of pit road, but it's really slow for some reason.
So it's Brandon Hawk who's now up in the class lead, or race lead, should say, in that second split in the bottom corner. After a lot of shuffling down there, Eddie Kerner, he's getting a little bit defensive. Tanner Love says, no thank you, I'd like to go dive.
You really like those double words. Dive. How about go for it? Go gadget. That's what these trucks are trying to do right here in the first split. They don't have that much time. Same with the second split. I mean, we're pretty much at the same amount of laps remaining in both races. They can go the rest of the way without having to go back into the pits. However, you still have to manage the tires. The tires will wear out. You will lose time if you push hard in the beginning. I think that's a question these drivers are going to have to ask themselves. How much do they want to push now, or do they want to wait later on before they start pushing while everybody else is just floundering around them?
Well, they've got some split strategies here in split 2 as well. Brandon Hawk, your leader. Rocky Boyd, meanwhile, trying to seal the deal here in the bottom right of your screen as both splits are 2 by 2. Fuel window is not looking too great here in split 2. They have a couple guys, like I mentioned, Quentin Warman there in 5th, Caden Russ in 6th, and Ashton Slice. They're going to be pushing 60-ish laps in their fuel window, so I don't think they're going to be good by any means.
A lot of the drivers, though, in split 1 going to be good on fuel because mostly everybody pit 11 laps ago. That put them within 48 laps within the green light for fuel. Now in full half by half when it comes to Viewpoint Hawk. Getting shuffled now by Navarro in the bottom corner of your screens. All of that is starting to see things as well. See others shuffle their way to the pack.
I think the bigger thing we've got to think about here, Justin, is if there is another caution in either of these races, when it comes out, is going to be a decision that I don't think any drivers really want to make, at least anybody running in the top 5. If there's a caution between 25 laps to go till, honestly, 5 laps to go, maybe 10 laps to go when they go back to green flag racing. You got to consider coming down into the pits almost certainly for at least 2 right side tires. I feel like if you don't and you're in first, you're a sitting duck. Everyone else can make the decision to go in, and then all of a sudden you're going all the way in the back. How about this? Caution is out with 35 laps to go in this one. We'll have to see what happens.
Another caution. And heard some chatter around 19th. It would be the 34. I think we'd be looking towards Spencer Burns. Remember, Nathan Landwehr was a lap down. Well, he just went, well, around to the heart of the field in one of the XPE trucks.
Well, if he mentioned 1 lap down already, I think he's got to go multiple laps down with this one.
Let's see what happened from Spencer Burns. You see him on screen. He's already apologized on the radio as a result of contact here. We'll see that in a moment. We'll see how the tire strats also play out here, since those 3 tire sets of the pits are about to be really stretched here.
Yeah, Nathaniel Landwehr is the one who got turned around by Burns in turn 3. You'll see in this replay right here. They're coming down the back stretch, and there's a bit of a run here by Burns. Landwehr in the mid-pack. And you remember what we saw earlier with Danson, as well as one of the other, I believe it was a Team Conti driver in the 26 truck earlier. It almost looks like that, except speed is not that different. He just kind of drove through him there again, though. The apologies were, in my opinion, necessary and welcomed.
That brings us under caution as Spencer Burns already put the apologies in. Hearing that split 2, pit strategies open. Blake McCandless just rolled the dice at 30 to go.
Yeah, he was 31 laps into his sphere run to spend his final run. Caden Rush in now as well, running 6. So here comes some green flag pit stops. I don't think guys were expecting it, but they're playing their hand now. Caden Rush are showing his up 12 spots already. So this is getting exciting.
I just don't understand why drivers did not come into the pits the last caution in split 2. Because
these guys all came in the last time, minus McCandless. Caden Rush was the one of the drivers, I believe, that was in. Meanwhile, it's been 24 laps. We're not tearing stuff up over here in the second race like you guys are in the first race. No offense, but
can you not go 45 laps though on a full tank?
We got our stuff together over here, all right. But it's gonna be tight. I mean, everyone's pushing 22 to 24 laps on a run, including our leader Rocky Boyd currently. So with 28 to go, which will be post 50, so I think everyone's going to have to pit at least one more time. So I think that's the reason we're starting to see some early green flag pit stops.
Up front, though, pressure on because Rocky Boyd, well, he's being pressurized by one of the Nexus machines. How long does this battle last is going to be a huge question mark. Right now, Rocky Boyd, the third amongst those working with one of the smaller teams on the grid, owned by John Jones. His team has seen some expansion as of late to be able to add more to the realm. They added Trevor Hoff, for example, in the offseason, seen Hoff make this round. So here comes the move now for the race lead. What will happen? Here is the Nexus machine going for the pass.
That's Connor Yaroshak there running the bottom inside of Rocky Boyd. Starts to slide up, able to get it going straight again. Rocky Boyd going to use that high side to get the momentum off. Let me tell you, if Rocky Boyd wins this race, he might be the most excited man we have ever seen.
Yeah, big opportunity as another send from Yaroshak. The Canadian trying to push up Rocky Boyd the third. Boyd the third able to keep firm. Brendan Hawk also in the popcorn seat, same for Navarro in that second split battle. Yaroshak much quicker to the corner. Rocky Boyd the third lets him have it.
Yeah, for now, he's going to try and cross it over. They got a little bit free as they were coming off the corner. It's going to give a run back to the guy in third place right now. Look at this. It's a 4-truck battle for the lead and a dive down the inside. Not going to be able to hold it there. That's a bold move, but you got to make it happen, or at least try.
And Rocky Boyd barely made it to this round to begin with 8 points, which is the difference between him and not racing tonight, or the next 7 races that is. So he was the second to last driver to make it in after round 1. So if he can go out here and not even win, I think if he finishes top 5 here tonight, that is going to be huge for Rocky Boyd to make him contender.
About to go back, by the way, the first split to green.
Yeah, they're about to go back to green as we keep an eye on how some of the purple trucks wrap themselves around the racetrack. The purple numbers like James Wetzel. There's Huff we mentioned as well with the different teams. But split 1, they're ready to go back to the green flag themselves. The Conti boys, Clampett and Smith in control, but looking third. Some newcomers joining the fray. It's Matthew Morton in the conversation.
It was a horrible start right there for Justin R. Smith. He just didn't follow the rest of the group down to the apron, and because of that, he had to go the long way around at the same speed. He loses a lot of traction. They're 3 wide for second again.
And look up the middle, able to gain back a lot of ground. It's Christopher Hill near contact for the battle for third. Hill had to make up a lot of ground because he lost it with the pit strategy before. Eddie Kerner up the middle wants third.
And they're trying to steal any spot they can here after the restart. Clampett still their leader, but Hill running up there by the wall, trying to get the momentum run off the corner. And Eddie Kerner, like you mentioned, trying to sneak into that third spot. He might seal the deal with a little bit of contact going into turn 3.
There's the driver viewpoint for Justin R. Smith. Laser focused. Right now has someone right to his doorstep, right across the numbers. Smith has led much of the way here today. 47 laps. Now having to fight the hardest he's had to fight. And for the first time all day, Braden, in the heart of the draft.
They see him sliding right there behind Eddie Kerner. Crossover move down the back straightaway. Able to get the run, make the crossover, not be able to make it stick, but able to get him side by side, going through 3. Almost a little bit of contact there through 3 and 4, and trying to go get some side draft going down the front straightaway here.
Not able to get it done though, so Eddie Kerner able to fully take third spot away as the rest of the field continues to fight tooth and nail for each of these spots. Morton amongst those having to fight Matthew Batby. He's now trying to get the bat out to try and say it's time to go Matthew Batby style with a push to Dalton Milam.
Oh man, Batby has decided it is time to go. He's one of the top drivers in this split. We haven't really seen too much of him, at least in the top 3 positions from this race, but hey, it might be time. He started 21st. The only other driver that is as high as he is, or higher than he is, that started way back where he is Eddie Kerner. He started in 23rd. He's up in a P3.
Yeah, what a run from Eddie Kerner. By the way, we talked a lot about what Warman was able to do earlier. Since the contact for that battle for the race lead, Braden, he's been shuffled further and further back in the pack.
That's definitely not the way you want to have the race going for you, being up front late in this one. And split 2, though, less than 20 to go, and split 1, they're less than 26 to go. So run the final stages, it's go time. So if you make a mistake at this point, you're not going to have the greatest finish by any means.
So Ford from Nexus up front in one split, a Chevy from Conti in the other. And O's also trying to make up lost ground again. Tanner Love having to make the move. Again, one of the legacy esports entries, this time backed by Grid Vision throughout the season for round number 2. Looking like he's found a lot of pace late after being the pole sitter early. He's using the top.
Yeah, and as this run continues and the tires do wear even more off, I mean, there's a lot more grip up top than there was during the first run of things earlier in the race, the first 50 or so laps. You were really setting the pace by going up high late in that run. Now, you already have some grip up there. Since it's late in the race, the tires are falling off. You can expect that those trucks are going to go a little bit faster this time by running up high than when they first started doing that.
Yeah, and in turn, a lot of the other drivers, this is what drivers love when it comes to these style of races too, Braden, is chances for comers and goers, chances to make up for lost qualifying ground, chances to find strategy in that regard. And for a lot of these cases, we're talking about drivers that started in the 20s up in the top 10 now in split 1, and same can be said in split 2.
Yeah, look at Rocky Boy the third, sitting there in second right now in split 2. Started 20 seconds, up 20 spots. And you mentioned drivers who are starting in the back and making their way up front. What about drivers that started up front and got sent to the back? Michael P. first storyline of the night in the first lap, gets a penalty on the initial green flag from the pole, has to go to dead last. So he's worked his way up slowly but surely, just now broke into the top 10, currently running 7th. Meanwhile, Andrew Navarro not happy with lap traffic and Rocky Boyd, and because let me tell you, this lap traffic definitely starting to heat up. Yaroshak still your leader, Rocky Boyd to 3rd and 2nd, and Navarro right behind him in 3rd.
Seeing that now in the full picture, yes. Brandon Hawk also doing a very solid job defensively. Agno Phillip, let's talk about him, Dylan. He's still up there too inside the conversation for the top 5 here. He's doing Agnell things, as you can put it.
Yeah, Agnell Phillip doing some Agnell things. He is one of those drivers that if you race against him, you know exactly what he brings to the table. He's pretty calm. He knows when to turn it on, when he has to turn it on. But inside that cockpit, he is not too worried about what's going on around him. It's going to change how he races just a little bit, but I mean, I'd like to see almost a heart rate monitor on him, because I would assume it doesn't fluctuate that much as the race goes on. He knows what he has to do. If he can stay in a position like this for all rounds of the series, he's going to give himself a good shot at making it into the top 20. Of course, this is split 2. It's not going to get necessarily as much as finishing 5th in split 1 as we go back to split 1 now, where there is a bit of a change for the race lead, and that is in the form of a love triangle.
I don't know if Tanner's going to appreciate the nickname, but hey.
Well, I mean, there's 3 drivers in view, and, you know, love and triangle, 3 sides to a triangle.
You know what's working out, though? Well, it's not a booing matter. Remember the strategy because of the cautions earlier? He was one of those who took freshies during one of the cautions, took the risk. Guess what? He's now in the race lead. Took it on lap 88 and now is quicker than anybody else. The next nearest on his strategy is Robbie Fabril Jr., but he is still outpacing Fabril in the pack.
Uh-oh. You saw him blink a little bit right there. I was trying to think of another pun that would get tomatoes thrown at me. Something about love hurts, but not his tires, right?
Yeah, I think we're still going to have to let you go after this one. Sorry. We appreciate you coming out, though, Dave.
I appreciate that. Not a problem, Brandon. I'll see myself out, but there's 18 laps to go here, and I mean, yeah, if it goes green the rest of the way, I don't see a reason why Love would not be able to hold pace. He's got much fresher tires than the rest of the field, really, and as big of a gap as he has right now, he's hoping that this race stays green. Great strategy call right there. I'm surprised not more went with him, but I think Landwehr did similarly there after getting involved in that caution. Do you remember that? Because he was the one that was spun to bring out the last caution, and he's up into P5.
Well, he's not going to cry about that incident now, why don't you? He was struggling a lap down at one point in this race, and now is in the conversation. Fabril looking to take away second. 17 to go in their split. Second split, meanwhile, has just had a pit stop for Quentin Warman, so fuel strategy is on down there with under 10 to go. Strategies coming up full picture break.
Oh, he slid through.
Warman's one of the drivers that didn't pit the most recent caution 44 laps ago, so he made it 52 laps on a fuel run.
Yeah.
Connor Yaroshak coming to 8 to go this time by. He's on 45 laps, so he's going to put him about 1 lap extra what Warman was able to do. Warman tried to go the distance, so the entire top 22 or so are looking pretty good right now. The driver that is sitting pretty, the driver that's looking great, Samuel Nyhoff, Michael Van Abel, and Colin Harvey all pitted coming to 1 to go to have an extra 2 laps in your tank along with David Schulthouse and JT Poole.
Okay, guys, this is exactly what I was talking about. If you had the opportunity to go into the pits under yellow flag conditions within 50 to go when you get back to racing, or 50 to go when the caution was there, and you didn't go, I don't understand what you did there, because if you can go 52 laps over a full green flag run, or I should say maybe 49 laps because you went 3 laps under caution, there's no reason that once that last caution came out in the second split that you didn't come into pit road. That's why I said it then, Brayton, and I'm still thoroughly confused now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Yaroshak is going to be able to hang on. I'm listening to him as he's driving, and he's not clutching. He's just kind of coasting in the corner and getting right back on the throttle, so he must not be worried. He's hoping for a late race caution here, because I don't really see anyone in the top 10 trying to save. They're all trying to go as hard as they can and go chase down Connor Yaroshak.
So, right now, split 2 down to the final 5 laps coming up. Split 1 down to less than 15 laps to work with. So the strategy has really caused a shuffle here. So, as they work through the final 5 laps in split 2, who's going to be able to come up on top is a huge question. Right now, Yaroshak still leads over Boyd the third and over Navarro in that one. Love, Fabril, Clampett, your top 3 in split in main focus currently.
You guys want a bit of an understatement of the year? The fall off is pretty big. From the lap that Clampett got his tires, or at least came out of the pits with fresh tires, lap 70. This was just before the most recent caution in stage, or in this green flag stint, the second half of the race. He had a 30.955, lap 70. It was his fastest of his race so far. 4 of those laps from lap 70 till now were under caution. So give or take 26 to 30 total green flag laps from that run. His last lap, a 32.655. That's almost a 1.7 second. That's more than that of a fall off thing.
Yeah, but hey, you have to give Yaroshak some huge credit. He's been an up-and-coming rocket ship. I'm not talking superstar. I'm not talking rising star. I'm talking taking the elevator all the way to the top in terms of speed. Yaroshak, your current leader. So with 2 laps to go, the Canadian Only joined the platform about a couple of years ago. Skyrocketed straight to the iRating he's at now, straight to the performance levels he's already put up with Nexus. He outright dominated about a year ago when we started seeing the top split coverage on iRacing social media platforms for the C6 series, and since then he's become one of the drivers you're going to have to watch for the rest of this year.
Yeah, Yaroshak coming to the white flag, less than 2.5 miles to go, looking to get a first win for him in round 2, and a Rocky Boy to third there, side by side. That's lap traffic, that's Ashton Slice. Different pit strategy for him, not going to work out. Yaroshak's going to get there. White flag is out for the final time. We got one more lap to go in split number 2.
I'm thinking there's no reason we shouldn't be hearing "Oh Canada" in just a few moments here, and I think, Justin, you should be the one to sing it.
Well, down the back straightaway, Connor Euroshak looks to close out a near perfect second half of the race for Nexus Esports and for the Front Row Motorsports partnership. Euroshak comes out of turn 4. Say hello to one of your rising stars of 2024. He rises to the top in round 2 to start it off.
Unbelievable 53 lap fuel run to end it. I didn't think we could make it that far, and they're able to squeeze it out. Like, I'm interested to see if he's even able to do a burnout after this one. I think he might be out in turn 1 and 2, just across the line.
It doesn't look like he's on the gas right now, but he is definitely going to be in full celebration mode. How about that, Connor Euroshak? And already some of the teammates from JRS coming to congratulate him as they're absolutely ecstatic. How about some solid runs for that group?
Yeah, we saw Yaroshak. We saw Yaroshak there get a couple wins in round 1 competition, mainly second split competitions. To come out here with the big dogs and still win on their home turf, kind of. I'm sure as you remember this one for a long time.
Cool to see some of the partners on there, of course, with Front Row Motorsports. Infinity Communications is one of Lane Riggs' primary partners, and that's on the rear, or I should say, the deck lid, the truck lid of that truck, as he does a little bit of a burnout here.
So, Connor Euroshak comes away with the victory. The burnout underway for the Canadian. Caution! First split! Just as we're about to go over to that direction with 5 laps to go, the caution is out. One driver burns out in celebration. Another does burn around after getting turned around in Santiago Tires.
Oh man, if you're Tanner Love, you're saying, are you kidding me? It's not over for him yet. He's going to have to really fight for this one now. I mean, what do you do here? Do you decide to go down into the pits? I mean, it's a lot easier if you're outside the top 10 to make a decision like this. You saw what happened earlier in this race when drivers did decide to stay out on worn tires. They fall back immediately. You see, it's just 2 trucks not necessarily having the brakes all lined up, and the 17 slides down, corrects, almost has it. And that's all you're going to be able to do. Is there's no more contact. Oh yeah, there's a lot more contact right there at the tail end of that wreck. What do you do?
Yeah, and I just already received one word. We have at least one that's going to have to roll the strategy dice here, guys. Cade McClellan's spotter and crew chief Kyle Brummett just said they're out of tires there. Split 2, let's run through the running order quickly. Euroshak, Boyd the third, Navarro, your top 3 there. Over Phillip, Hunt, Frisch, Hawk, Huff, Wenzel, and McGinley, your top 10, Braden.
Yeah, Ryan Andrews going to be one of their biggest movers, up 20 spots in 11th. Brian Mercurio gains the late run there, 8 spots in 12th. Cameron Champagne drops 10 to 13th. Matt Kosher 14th. River Hayes up to 15th. JT Poole in 16th. David Childhouse, that's an exciting day there in 17th. Max R. Brady drops a ton, though, down to 18th. Garrison Hogan in 19th. Sandra Nyhoff in 20th. Michael Van Abel in 21st. Colton Harvey 22nd. Caden Russ in 23rd. Blake McCannis, I believe, led the strategy on that alternate pit strategy. Didn't work out. 24th place finish for him. Joe Armstrong in 25th, and Ashton Slicer last car on to lead lap, and Warman Ballet both one lap down. Nanny and Johnson, Morse, Bumgarner, Avila, and Helton all multiple laps down.
That's what John spotted at the running order over there. In the second split of races, Split 1 just had a bit of a curveball because there were only 3 sets available in the pits tonight. A lot of drivers are out of sets. That includes Love, Clampett, Fabril Jr., and more who have to stay out here. Your first on freshies is Eddie Kerner back in the 11th position.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. Just being back in 11th for Eddie Kerner, this could be a chance. He's got to be licking his chops right now because he's got a chance to just blow the doors off of everybody right here. It's all in the restart, though, because they won't all get back up to full speed until they're coming to the white almost, and he's really, really going to need the best of starts or the best of toes coming down the backstretch.
Gonna be a fun one to watch for sure. Green and white checker territory. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. We got 3 attempts to get it right, and at that point, yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch these guys. If we make it to the white flag, at that point, might take your boxing gloves out because we are finishing that race in the next mile and a half, no matter what. If we don't get to the white flag, well, then we're gonna re-rack and restack, and we're gonna try again until we either run out of attempts or we finally get it right.
So, those on old tires include the following again. For those just tuning in, for a green-white checkered finish, one of 3 attempts available. Tanner Love, Logan Clampett staying out. For Bell Jr. also staying out, along with Hill, Landwehr, McClenny, Brown, Honkin, Pfeffer, and Bowers, your top 10. Your first to take 4 tires, Eddie Kerner. Dalton England, who was involved in one of the cautions earlier, took 2 tires to get the second on fresher tires. Justin R. Smith, Matthew Morton, and Matthew Bappy, your top 15 for this upcoming restart. In our words, bubble wrap should be in full supply for in case things go on here.
Well, I don't know if bubble wrap's going to be the thing that is approved by NASCAR competition for this second round of qualifying for the Contender Series. I don't know, Brayton, have you ever used bubble wrap on an ARCA car?
No, but I've definitely used a lot of duct tape, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lots of duct tape. And sometimes you just body slam the hood, like we saw at Portland, the Xfinity Series.
It's gonna be exciting. One to watch for sure. Get the duct tape though ready. That's all I'm gonna say.
I just know that if you've got the opportunity to keep your foot in it, keep your foot in it.
Well, we're about to see who's going to be able to keep their foot in it the longest to be able to win this race. Chevy, Toyota, Ford, your top 5 complexion. Who's going to be able to come away with split 1's victory here tonight? Let's find out during this green-white checkered. Pace car off, this time. Tanner Love in control, clamp it alongside. Green, better launch for the inside, an early one to the restart zone. It's 3-4 wide. Keep an eye on the fresh tires from 11th on back here.
Oh yeah, watch Eddie Kerner. He's got such a big run on the inside. He's the only one from this top group that is going to be able to run the inside and keep as much momentum as he needs. Already making a move in for 4th.
Trucks bobbling all over the place, 3 and 4 wide isn't going to work out and have a mixture of different tire strategies. They seem 3 wide bumping each other, 4 wide in the middle of the pack here.
Here they come to the white flag, this time brought to you by Maconi Entertainment. They take said white 4 wide for 4th. All while Eddie Kerner looks to hunt down the lead. Tanner Love looking to play defense. They start crashing big behind him. At least 6 drivers spun around. Eddie Kerner drives himself to the race lead with a half a lap to go. Contact for Pappy. He gets spun into the field. Tanner Love gets spun up as well. All of that's well through the final corner. Welcome back to victory lane in major ways for Eddie Kerner. He'll take the win and start round 2 in victory lane.
What a mess in the back. Everyone pretty much wrecked. Dalton Millam gets 2nd with Matthew Morgan in 3rd. And Dylan C. Jones has finished in 4th in this race, but it's Eddie Kerner, the Illini driver, who gets the win. Lowest position, 33rd. It says the highest he got was 3rd, but guess what? Nah, he got 1st. He won that race from a great strategy call.
the entire, not just a great strategy call, but surviving that last lap. We took that white flag, and like I said, at that point, get the boxing gloves out, because the entire field basically wrecked on that last lap, coming to the checkered flag there. And if it wasn't 1 and 2, it was in 3 and 4.
I mean, all you had to do was just take those Fort Fresh tires, and he was right there. There was no one that was going to be able to stop him.
So Norris Fords goes to victory lane with Eddie Kerner here. And he'll get the chance to burn it on down. There's a reason why he's been well respected for several years now on the platform. You see why with this victory here tonight, able to get the run for the checkered. So once again, Eddie Kerner burns it on down. He'll get the chance to celebrate with the rest of the team. A chance to speak with the rest of these drivers in just a few moments' time. But good chance to look at the running results in the next moment or so. Dylan, your thoughts?
I mean, that was just a solid way to open up round 2 of this qualifying series. Eddie Kerner, I wouldn't call it luck. I mean, he still had to put the work in, but the fact that no one else really followed him from the top 10 put him in a good spot to make the strategy call to get tires. And after that, I feel like the cards were all in his favor to take that win. He did exactly that. It was a great restart at the end there. A solid opening round.
Take a step aside. We'll look through the round 1 results for round 2, I should say, for split 1 results right after this. You're watching iRacing social media platforms and Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of RTP here on iRacing social media platforms and Maconi Entertainment. Let's take a look at the results, first of all, for round number 1's portion of tonight, split 1, I should say, of the second round of RTP. Eddie Kerner, Dalton Millam, Matthew Morton, your top 3. Jones and Batby, your top 5. Mace, Stewart, Olsen, Crowder, and Hawkin rounding out your top 10, Dylan.
Yeah, solid run for the top 10 as we move on. Matheson, Burns, McClenny, Kohler, Coyne, Clampett. Oh, man, Clampett, one of those drivers that were just up at the end, and just that chaos just takes him out of it. Tears in 17th, Danson, Baloo, England, your top 20, and we continue moving down. Mr. Lester.
They're going down to this place. Crawford, there to see him there in 21st, Ethan Lane 22nd. Nathaniel in the 23rd. Ashton Crowder, driver we didn't really talk a whole lot about. 24th, Chris Overland in 25th. Christopher Pfeffer, 26th. Tanner Love, heartbreak for him. That was pretty good. Will Cooley in 28th, Justin R. Smith in 29th, and David L. Brown rounds at the top 30. You got a lot more guys finish over there on the lead lap. I'll give you that. As Russell, Rabel, Bowers, all on the lead lap as well. And then Christopher M. Hill 1 lap down, and then Brad Wright 46 laps down. Because technically they're only DNF. I don't think a whole lot of the field was in racing condition after that white flag incident, but they made it.
That's a look top to bottom at your run over for race number 1 of the 2 here tonight we've seen on the network. A lot to talk about, but we do have your drivers already standing on by. Why don't we first talk by with Connor Yoroshak. Connor, you made yourself well known to many people tonight. You've been a rising star for about a year plus. You get an RTP round 2 win tonight. How's it feel?
Oh man, it feels so good. I mean, I see the hard work all my teammates do and the effort we put in, and to have it pay off already right off the start is just an amazing feeling for our whole group.
Overall, how would you describe that said truck in terms of the build process for round number 2 to be able to have the speed it had?
I mean, it takes a lot of work to win these things, and I mean, we set up for a little bit colder track, and it ended up being a little hotter than we thought, and it just played to our strength even more with our drive off all race. That's where I was just better than everybody the whole time, and it just, when you have good drive off, you can set up passes, you can defend. It just makes everything so much easier. So, I mean, those are the trucks you dream about having every once in a while, and it was just a pleasure to have one tonight and be able to get the job done with it.
So, on that note here, the next time out, it's Pocono. Your thoughts on the Pocono Mountains, and in turn, how it feels to match with your skill set?
I mean, we have a lot of momentum right now, so I think I can win anywhere.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Connor. Congratulations on the victory.
Yeah, thank you guys a lot. I appreciate it.
Connor Yoroshak coming away with the win here in Split 2. Split 1, meanwhile, went the way of one Eddie Kerner. He's also now standing by. How do we go and speak with Dylan Coyle for him?
Yeah, really, really solid job here, Eddie. I mean, listen, there's no surprise that once you got that restart at the end there, that from 11th, you had the freshest tires. It was just about execution at the end there. And hey, you stuck to the bottom, and it worked out perfectly. When you saw that you were the highest driver and you were 11th with fresh tires, what was going through your mind?
I was ecstatic. I was when that yellow came out, I was super happy because I knew we were gonna
be the best. You can't settle for the rest.
beat everyone that just passed us. I thought I didn't think I was gonna be the first on fresh tires though, because I thought we weren't sure who had an extra set or not. But as soon as I was lined up first on fresh tires, I knew I had it, as long as I didn't do anything stupid or nothing stupid happened around me, and we missed it all.
Well, I mean, stupid things did happen around you, but just you weren't involved in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just felt like, once you got that restart at the end there, you were able to stick to the bottom. Everyone else drifted up high, and it opened up that door for you to keep moving through. But up until that point, it was an up and down day. You had a low of 33rd place. And then I believe that was your only lap led from the entire race. It was the last one. So just take us through it, the ups and the downs of eventually ending up in victory lane.
Yeah, didn't hit the qualifying lap I wanted. We we were testing the wrong wind, so off of 4 I got super tight, and in the race, the first run, I drove horribly, and we were gonna make up some spots there on the green flag cycle, but we had the yellow right in the middle, and then kind of stuck around 10th-ish, and then with a couple restarts to go, we ended up behind Pfeffer and Clampett, who were 1-2 on our strategy, and we made some moves, and we're kind of just hanging out there until the end, and then caught a break with the yellow and caught a break getting through everything. So kind of lucked out on this race. I shouldn't have been nowhere near the front, but it is what it is. We'll take it.
Well, going forward, I feel like this is the best possible start you can have. Are you expecting to keep those performances up?
Yes, I feel really, with the new aero model, I felt really good testing all week. I feel this just kind of suits my driving style. You have to kind of drive off the right rear, and I love that. And so hopefully we can continue this moving forward. I like the next few tracks coming up. Yeah, hopefully we can roll this in the next few races.
All right, Eddie. Hey, congratulations once again. Looking forward to seeing what you do in round 2.
Thank you, and shout out to Kyle and Jason and all the Norse Force and EPI guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Eddie Kerner. And Brayton, I believe you are going to be standing alongside Rocky, finishing second in Split 2. Not a bad run whatsoever.
That Rocky Board leads 9 laps tonight in a route to that second place finish. I want to say definitely one of your better races for iRacing career, Rocky. Talk us through it.
Yeah, my driver messed up qualifying a little bit and put us deep at the start, but car was really fast, and I was able to drive through traffic before that first caution and put us around the top 10. And then pit strategy just went our way, and we were able to get some track position and hold on to it.
And sitting here, you were one of the last drivers to make it into round 2. We knew how ecstatic you were coming into the night. Did you expect to ever get a second place or a podium finish here, especially this early on?
After Monday night, SOF night, I thought we had a really good truck, so I thought anything was possible. But I couldn't never imagine running in the top 3 in a race with that many talented drivers. So I was a little starstruck, but it just shows that me and my guys deserve to be here.
That's speaking of deserving to be here. We're going to Pocono next week. How are you feeling about that?
Haven't really been too great there in the past, but we got 2 weeks, and we'll get to work on it here tonight or tomorrow and start preparing.
Of course, so we wish you the best here on round 2, and I hope we'll be talking to you quite a bit this season.
Thank you.
Once again, that is run by Rocky Boy III, second in his respective split. Meanwhile, let's go to second once again for Split 1. Want to talk to Dalton Millam, who was able to come away with second for 16th. Let's talk about the Hornet's Nest. What was the Hornet's Nest like for that final restart?
It was crazy, honestly. Big shout out to Zach Novak for getting me through that. We agreed before we went green there, just stick bottom, roll with it, just be patient with it. Sure enough, it worked out. Got a little chaotic there with the 4 wide, 5 wide, whatever it was, but just like I said, big shout out to Zach for getting me through there.
Overall, how would you describe the preparation to be ready to go for round 2 this week, especially with the new build to factor in?
Glad you mentioned that. We put in a lot of work. We ran a lot of C Open laps this week, and huge shout out to everyone on Lockdown Racing and Area 51 for basically getting us to where we were on speed just today. We thrashed on it all week, and Taylor Hurst pitched in and obviously found some stuff. And Will Cooley, Agnell, they all thrashed on it today, a little bit last night, and picked up a lot of time for it, and obviously got us where we are. I messed up Q a little bit, put us, I don't know, mid-pack, and fell off really bad early, and came back and obviously finished second.
So Pocono's up next. Your thoughts on Pocono?
Pocono for me as a driver hasn't been one of my best tracks, but Pocono as a team, we've been obviously really good there. Jonathan Delaney got a win there in his Road to Pro season there, so I would say we're doing pretty good.
All right, we'll let you get to the preparation, then congratulations on the podium tonight.
Alrighty, thank you.
Dalton Millam coming away second in his respective split. Let's go to the next in the order, Dylan Coyles with Andrew Navarro.
Yeah, Andrew Navarro standing alongside Andrew. Solid run, you know. It feel like the first round or the second round, first race of this one. P3 is not necessarily a bad run at all, but it is split 2. Is this something that you hope for next race to be in split 1, contending for top 5, top 10 there?
Honestly, with the way that the splits work, I don't really give anything about the splits. All I care about is finishing up at the front. I know I can finish up in the front no matter what the split is, being in top split all round 1. So that doesn't really bother me. But the way that we snake split, we got good people in both races, so it's just about finishing those races. And we executed tonight and had a good finish.
Well, it's that execution that I feel like is going to be key throughout the rest of this round. Do you feel like, if you can make the top 20, what's it going to take each race? Is it going to be an average of being in the top 10 or just outside the top 10? What is it going to take to make that top 20?
I think mathematically, normally it's around like top 13 or 13th place average finish. Um, and I honestly just want to finish on the podium pretty much every single race. We did for half the round one races. Um, just really struggling that race, but couldn't really find my way back up to the front after that yellow. So that definitely sucked.
Are there any races that are in this round that you kind of look at, circle, and say, "Oh, this is going to be a race we're going to have to make up for with a good performance in another one"?
Uh, honestly, the only race that I would consider that I would probably say Pocono. Pocono with the draft, anything can happen. You can get ran into the back of or destroyed on a restart. I got destroyed on a restart 2 years ago. So I'm just hoping for a good race there. But want to thank my mom downstairs and my dad that's on a cruise. He'll probably be seeing this tomorrow. Premier Racing Setups, everybody on the car, Celebrity Cruises, Martin Sports, Seven Seas. I know I'm probably forgetting somebody in Kenny for being on the box tonight.
All right, Andrew. Well, hey, congratulations on the podium finish. And hey, Pocono is in 2 weeks. So hopefully we're talking to you again and it's not exactly as much of a struggle as you might think it is.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Andrew Navarro, third in the second of the two main races we were broadcasting here tonight. But Matthew Morton, Brayton, you're standing alongside him.
That has an exciting run, finishes third after a very hectic race, and especially a very hectic last lap. Matthew talking through the race, and mainly that white flag lap there.
Yeah, man, that last lap was absolutely crazy, but mainly the goal for the entire race was just to maintain track position as much as I could, just stay in the top 10 because I know how much that clean air is important to the truck here at Chicago. But there on the white lap, it was basically just hope and pray, and somehow we got lucky and ended up to finish third here.
Finishing third, working their way up kind of through the field. Not really working their way up, but keeping it clean. That's the most important thing, is like keeping a clean track here with these no fast to pair races. And you got 6 more races to go in round 2. How do you feel about your odds?
I'm not too sure yet. I know I have some confidence in some tracks coming up. But yeah, this is pretty new for me being in round 2, but I'm ready to attack whatever challenge comes my way.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm correct, you also have some experience over there on the collegiate side of, or the college, I guess, iRacing side of things. And does the seriousness relate to this as far as having to train, having to practice for that?
I would definitely say there is a little bit of similarities when it comes to competitiveness and just how hard you're running guys. So definitely some of the practice and races I've done for the eNASCAR College Series, some of that practice has definitely helped pay off in some of the Road to Pro stuff. But obviously with this being open setup, it's obviously going to be a little bit different, especially in the trucks in this new model. But I think definitely just surrounding myself in competitive races definitely helps me perform well in these races right here.
Yep, for sure. Well, we want to thank you for taking the time to run with us, and especially thank you for taking the time to talk with us. We appreciate it, and congratulations on our third place finish here tonight.
Thank you guys. Go Bucks.
Matthew Morton rounding out our post-race interviews here tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for tonight's coverage here on iRacing social media platforms and Maconi Entertainment for taking time to speak with us here. So, how about that for a finish in one split? A bit more nuanced than the other. Here's a look at some of the craziness that happened in split one. How about that finish you're doing?
Yeah, that was a little bit sloppy all around at the end of split one. They just couldn't seem to keep themselves from wrecking at the end of the race when the fight for the win was pretty much over by the time we got to the exit of turn 2. But they continued it up, almost saved it right there with Love, but unfortunately just couldn't keep it and ended up kind of pinballing around a few more drivers. But nonetheless, it's one of those races that it just came down to kind of getting the luck of the draw strategy-wise, and the caution coming out at the right time for Kerner. We'll have to see what Pocono provides. A very different racing style than we've got here.
Braden with Pocono up next. Your thoughts on the tricky triangle?
Well, they don't call it the tricky triangle for nothing. They're in a long pond, so definitely a unique track. One of the more unique ovals on the surface. Excuse me, and most of it comes from its surface, and just how wide and the angles and 3 corners, 5 corners, 6 corners, 4 corners. Leave it for the fans to decide of that one.
And again, we'll see how things go when we go to Pocono. Again, that'll be July the 11th for 60 laps for that race. 3 additional tire sets to keep an eye on as well. We'll see how things go for the day race when we go to Pocono in about a couple weeks' time. So on that note, though, I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's festivities after a night of some of the most intense action available for the iRacing service. We look to wrap things up before we head to Pocono. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Brian Laster. Dylan Coyle was in the booth. Christian Hill, DJ Lyon was our producer. Thanks as well to our viewers for watching tonight's action, and we hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time when we go racing from Pocono.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.